Computer boot sequence initiated. Accessing library computer data. NCC 10535. Starship Tempest.
On the surface of a rocky planet, construction workers hustle and bustle in setting up a large complex of buildings, a project nearly finished. One man stands on a rocky rise, alternating between tapping on a pad and directing various workers this way and that.
We need 6 more heavy loaders in grid 4-7. Over.
He looks up in the sky and notices a star shining bright in the daylight, moving steadily and quickly across the sky. As he watches, 2 more stars flash into existence. Then another, and another. An Andorian woman comes rushing down from the building complex towards him and shouts, "Norris! It's the Klingons!" The blood drains from his face, he drops the pad he's holding, and takes off running back towards the Andorian woman and the building complex.
Space. The final frontier. These are the missions of the starship Tempest. Set between Captains Kirk and Picard, 5 friends stumble their way through their first role-playing game as the crew of this Federation starship, exploring strange new worlds, keeping peace in the galaxy, defending their keyboards from kids and cats, and going clumsily, if not boldly, where no one has gone before. Captain's Log, Stardate 16343.5. We are en route to the Ivex system, where a volatile diplomatic situation is brewing. After nearly 6 months of construction, a new Federation dilithium mine is almost ready to begin operation. But 2 weeks ago, the Klingons arrived and set up a much smaller operation on the neighboring planet, which has understandably made the Federation mining crews rather nervous. Our mission is to determine whether or not the Klingons have aggressive intentions and to diffuse any existing tensions, while also ensuring both the timely operation and ongoing security of the Federation mine. Whether we'll be able to successfully balance these dueling objectives remains to be seen.
Essentially, this mission is about dealing with kind of a potential diplomatic incident with the Klingons, and if things go badly, there's a possibility that things will eventually go to war. It's not like this mission, if you fail, definitely war is going to happen, but basically things will start to have ramifications from mission to mission. Maybe not right away.
Jeez, no pressure.
Yeah.
Which way can the mission go that creates the most work for you?
Yeah, depending on how well or badly you guys do, it will start to influence.
Immediately blow up the ship.
Let's all tender our
Nice.
resignations and start a farm.
We got the animals.
Yeah, and you've got a whole bunch of other players and characters to come in and deal with the mess that you guys create.
Oh, I think we're going to fall into a quantum fissure, and we're going to end up in the Andromeda Galaxy. And
Yeah.
Have fun with that, Brian.
So, as part of that, also remember that...
Yeah, clear heads up, Brian. Do not put a wormhole anywhere in this game.
Also, as part of that, remember that our campaign is set 25 years before the beginning of Next Generation, so like based on the actions and what you guys choose to do and how things turn out, like history may end up becoming different from what we saw in the Next Generation.
Almost right.
Like you guys...
We did it in the past.
Is Picard in charge of the Stargazer at this point?
Picard has been in command of the Stargazer for I think like 6 years at this point.
Cool.
Oh, neat.
In the past.
So yeah, he's running around. Basically everybody else from TNG is either a kid or not born yet, which tells you how
Wesley.
old Picard is. Yeah, Wesley's not going to be born for another like 10 or 12 years or something like that.
I mean, Guinan's still running around.
Guinan is running around somewhere. We don't know where.
With the corpse of Mark Twain.
Are there both Rikers?
There is... No, Riker is, I think, 4 years old at this moment in time.
Oh, 4 years old. Man,
Yeah.
Picard is old.
Yeah, so when I was first, like, figuring all of that out, it really, like, you don't realize how much of an age difference there is between him and Crusher until I started plotting this out. Beverly Crusher is 16 years old right now, and Picard has already been captain of a starship for 6 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Kind of a May-December romance. That's
Yeah, a little bit.
disturbing.
Anyway, so
I
that's
just
all
read that term today.
Crusher likes people so old they're literally dead, though, so it's fine.
Yeah, so for Crusher, Picard is like robbing the cradle for her.
Hashtag Sub Rosa.
That should not be a hashtag.
At the beginning of our campaign is 25 years before the start of Next Generation. It's also 46 years after the events of Star Trek VI Undiscovered Country, which, as you'll remember, was a whole movie about making peace with the Klingons. That peace only came about because the Klingon moon Praxis blew up, which is where they mined all of their dilithium. So basically, in one catastrophic moment, they lost their ability to field interstellar battle fleets. And they were sort of forced to come to the negotiating table with the Federation of Planets, and through there created their first peace treaty. The Federation hoped that would be the first step of, a multi-stepped peace process and the beginning of a really long and lasting and solid peace and friendship between the Klingons. However, the Klingons viewed it more as like a temporary inconvenience to be endured for as briefly as possible while they went out and found more dilithium. At which point, once they had enough dilithium to be back on their feet, their sense is, we're going to go back to our old ways, and we're going to, attack the Federation if we want, and we're going to be Klingons again if we want. So in the intervening 46 years between that point and now, the present point in this campaign, they have been going out and finding new sources of dilithium, and they're almost back up to where they were. So this mission, the Federation has set up a new dilithium mining operation in the Ivex system, specifically on the planet of Ivex 3. It's a big operation. There's 3 facilities spread across the planet, and it's taken 6 months of work, and it's almost ready to go online and start actually generating dilithium. 2 weeks ago, the Klingons showed up and set up a much smaller operation on the next door planet, Ivex 2, and started mining their own dilithium. The dilithium on Ivex 2 is easier to access, but it's lower quality. The dilithium on the Federation planet is higher quality, but needs better technology to get at it. So Starfleet actually thinks that the Klingons don't have the they don't have the technology to access the dilithium on the Federation planet. So the administrator for the Federation planet, as soon as the Klingons showed up, he freaked the fuck out. He's like, they're showing up, and they're just gonna wait until our facility is online, and then they're gonna come and they're gonna kill us all, and they're gonna take this dilithium and just use this facility that we've built and we've set up, and they're gonna kill me and all of my crew in the process. So
What a weenie.
Yeah, catastrophic thinking much? Gee.
to be fair, I mean, this guy is
To be fair.
he's not a Starfleet guy. He's a Federation just civilian mining administrator. But yeah,
He's a jackass is what he is.
he's freaking out pretty hard. And so once the Klingons did show up, even though right now it's a pretty small operation on the Klingon side, he demanded that Starfleet send a big heavy cruiser to come and straighten everything out, which is you guys. So
And they sent us.
Can I ask a background question?
Sure.
How many Klingons constitute a swarm?
On Ivex 2, there are 15 Klingons.
So Ivex 2 is swarming with Klingons.
Oh, we can kill them.
Wait. We don't wanna just rush in and kill everybody.
And that's so that's the thing.
Do we, though?
So
Because that would be an act of war. That's no good.
So your orders from Starfleet specifically
Or to rush in and kill everyone.
are to not kill everybody, to not heighten tensions with the Klingons, to not get drawn into an armed conflict if at all possible.
Sure.
But at the same time, you have this mining administrator who, well, you'll talk to him in a minute, and he'll give you his point of view on things.
Okay.
Sure.
But you've also got to make that
Dr.
guy feel
Teal, get the
safe.
sedatives ready.
You got to make that guy feel safe for as long as he's in charge there. You got to not get drawn into a fight with the Klingons if at all possible. But if they attack you, then
Don't tell us what to do.
you have to defend yourselves. So yeah, you've got to balance two mutually exclusive goals here. And I will say, so like I said at the beginning, this is the first kind of home-built one. This is the first non-book scenario that we're doing. And I did try my best to create like an actual dilemma in the sense that there's no one perfect magic answer that satisfies everything. Like, there's conflicting stuff you have to balance. And I've thought about it a lot, and so far I have not been able to come up with a magic solution that satisfies everything. Maybe you guys
Sorry,
are
all ends in war.
I am going to preemptively say, I am so sorry for ruining this for you.
if you guys can come up with a magic solution that actually works, that solves everything, absolutely we'll go for it.
Ryan, let's defect to the Klingons.
Defect. That wasn't in the book, was it,
So
Brian?
yeah, so let's kill the Federation miner, because he'll never see that coming.
Yeah.
Brian, when you were working out potential scenarios, did you take into account the idea that we defect and take over the Starfleet mining operation for the Klingons?
No, I did not consider that as a possibility.
I will live
Actually-
upon the planet Kronos and raise rabbits and cook them.
I would like to have seen Kronos.
When you were creating this, did you keep in mind that we are who we are and we keep creating characters who are animals?
Yeah.
I did, and so how long have we been building up to this point where this is the first non-book mission?
15 years.
It's been literally over a year, right? And so I've been thinking about this particular mission
It's been 14 months.
for almost that entire time. So
Okay.
Cool, we're gonna undo that real quick.
yeah.
So
Brian,
quick.
can you let us know the point at which it all goes off the rails?
Yeah.
Sure.
When it comes to screwing you, we operate at 60 trillion calculations a second. So.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. So we're going now?
Yeah, so
Let's do
if
it.
You guys have any other background questions? I will answer them depending on what they are. If
what's
not, go jump into it.
the? Can you describe the habitability or inhabitability of Ivex 3?
Sure, Ivex 3 is Class M, so it's quite pleasant for most humanoid creatures, humans included.
So it's a good place to just set down and not worry about the other two planets.
Ivex 3?
Shore leave is what I'm thinking.
What? You're just going to take shore leave at the beginning of the mission. Okay, I get it. So the Federation mining planet is Class M, which means it's, nice and temperate for humans. The Klingon planet is...
I mean, Earth is Class M, and have you ever been to Arizona?
The Klingon mining planet is more akin to Arizona in that it's Class L, so it's livable, but not comfortable for humans.
Got it, Arizona.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do so many people live there?
It's nice there.
In Arizona?
Well,
No. Arizona's
I'm
I'm
terrible.
sorry, you live in a state that is on fire half of the year.
Yeah.
So how about shut up?
Okay. Lieutenant Doe, set course for the Ivex system with alacrity.
All right, and if you guys look at Roll20, you'll see
the ship.
the Tempest has arrived in the solar system. You'll see Ivex 3 is right near you. And then on the other side of the map is Ivex 2.
Are there any other,
with the Klingons.
what's the rest of the system look like? I'm assuming 1 and 4 and higher are out of the habitable zone? or
Yeah,
something?
so 1 is a tiny little rock that's, like Mercury, and then 4 and 5 are gas giants.
Okay.
And that's it.
Cool.
All right.
Is there anything you want to do immediately as you jump into the system before I trigger the first thing?
We've seen no actual aggression from the Klingons, right? Like, this is just that administrator demanding some sort of ship help,
Correct.
right? Okay.
So far in the 2 weeks that they've been there, the Klingons have done nothing but set up their own mining operation on Ivex 2.
Okay.
And this is on a border in which, like, they are allowed to do that, correct?
Yeah,
It looked
so
like
this
Ivex was
particular
right on the
system
border.
is unclaimed so far, and it's right on the border
Is
with
it-
Klingon and Federation.
Does anyone live on these planets besides these yahoos who just showed up?
Nope.
Like, is there an indigenous population?
No indigenous population that you know of.
Okay.
What's the administrator's name?
Norris Lee.
Norris Lee. All right. I guess dispatch a message to Administrator Lee that we have entered the Ivex 4 system.
So the Federation planet is Ivex 3. The Klingon planet is Ivex 2.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were on Ivex 4. Okay. Tell the administrator we're going to be late. Please dispatch a message to Administrator Lee that we have entered orbit over Ivex 3.
Okay, so yeah, you hail him, and he answers your hail immediately. And he is properly spooked, just as spooked as, if not even more so than kind of the Starfleet Admiral warned you about. He demands that you basically force the Klingons out of the system immediately, use force if necessary, according to him. As long as he is the administrator of this facility, he has to be satisfied with the safety and security of his facility. And he is not going to let you leave until he is satisfied.
Administrator Lee, so far the Klingons have kept the peace for 46 years, and I cannot and will not subscribe to your interpretation of these events.
So what's the power? I mean, what's the power structure here? He's not in Starfleet, or is he?
No, he's a civilian.
Okay.
But his responsibility is for the mining operation. So as long as he's in charge of the mining operation, he does have to sign off on whatever you guys do.
All right.
Basically, I'm going to ask you to pick a strategy in terms of dealing with Norris Lee, dealing with his administrator. You can either basically agree with him and say, yep, you're right, we'll drive the Klingons off right away in order to ensure your security. You can intimidate him, say like, hey, listen, we're here, we'll take care of it, you sit down, you're the civilian, shut up. Or you can reassure him without making any kind of promise or intimidating him in any way.
Administrator Lee, I would just like to clarify. Has there been any evidence, or have the Klingons displayed any degree of hostile intent since they arrived?
Evidence? They're Klingons, Captain. What evidence do you need?
Is he being racist? Because...
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you. Lieutenant Doe, please set course for Ryza.
Captain, these are Klingons. You know their predilections as well as I do. I am
Ooh,
convinced...
check out the big brain on Norris. Predilections.
Sorry, continue, Administrator.
I am convinced that they are just waiting for our facility to be operational, at which point they will come and take it from us by force and kill us in the process.
I would just like to know if there has been any show of force or indication. Have there been any Klingons that you've seen on Ivex 3, reconnaissance, anything?
There's that bird of prey that's around Ivex 2. What do you call that?
I call that a ship that's orbiting its mining facility on its planet.
Yeah, but we don't have a starship defending us all the time. That bird of prey has shown up with the very first mining setup team and has been there ever since.
Administrator Lee, your concerns are valid and warranted, and frankly, that's why we're here to help.
Captain, with all due respect, I don't feel like you're taking my concerns seriously. And if you refuse to do what needs to be done, then I will take matters into my own hands.
Whoa!
Mr. Holden,
Yes, sir.
how many members can you sit down on a security detail down to Ivex 3?
We can send several if we want to.
I would
Scans show that there are 15 Klingons on Ivex 2.
Yeah. Are you talking about Ivex? Are you talking about the Federation or the Klingons?
I was going to offer to Administrator Lee that we set down a security team to Ivex 3,
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
just for starters.
Right. So there's about 700. The crew of an ambassador class ship is about 700. So say
We can afford a security detail of a handful of people.
That's the exact phrase I was looking for. You're good at your job, Holden.
Good team
Thank you.
dynamics, Captain.
Thank you, Captain. Couldn't do it without your team dynamics.
So as many as you can spare, let's set up a security detail on Ivex 3 around their facility.
Okay. I'll let you beam down 12-man team.
Oh.
Does that sound
All right.
good?
Yeah.
Yes, Goodspeed, do you have any Ivex 3 clothing that we can send with them?
To trick them into
Specifically
thinking.
pants.
Yeah.
No, sir. I believe we entirely populate this planet, so any clothing we wear is by default now Ivex free clothing.
Very good.
Which
job,
means
team.
it's going to be hot pants.
Pants.
Okay. So you beam down a sizable security.
Well, before I did that, I sort of wanted to do that on the open channel to see if that would help quell
Appease.
Lee's temperament. Yeah.
Well, are you going to get his permission first, or are you just going to beam them down because he might react poorly?
Well, that was my whole point. Was I was expecting him to react, and I was going to look at him and say, "Is that acceptable as a show of faith?"
Oh, I see. So basically, you're beaming them down before talking to them, and then you like, is this okay? Is this good enough?
No, we talked to Lee, and then when he was complaining, I think Maddox basically just had that conversation with me about whether or not we could send a security team.
Okay.
And then I said yes.
I got
was
you.
gonna
Okay.
say, Mr. Lee, would that be satisfactory?
And so he looks around at the security officers that have just appeared out of thin air behind
No,
him.
we didn't do it yet.
Oh, god damn it.
Damn it, transporter chief.
Well, you said, is that sufficient?
Who's working the? No, yeah, like is the plan sufficient? He could hear everything I was saying with Holden.
All right,
so-
Brian, let's take a little 10% off the top right there. Good buddy.
Listen, I jumped the gun and I beamed them early. Sorry.
Okay, Eel.
I'm so bored up here, I can't even tell you.
All right, Administrator Lee, my apologies. I was going to ask your permission first to see if this was going to be a satisfactory first step in securing your facility. Our very ambitious and excitable...
A transporter chief.
Is Eel the transporter chief now, too?
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe, if he wants to be.
Sure.
Sure,
I
why not?
got a promotion.
I like... I
I
like
mean,
that.
he was in second command of the engineering, so I don't know if that's a promotion.
Well,
We just O'Brien'd him.
perhaps it was a lateral move, but it's fine either way.
Okay. So the security team materializes around him and presumably at the other two facilities on the planet. And Norris Lee looks at them and then looks back at the screen to you and he says, Captain, are these for our protection or are these to babysit us?
Your protection.
Are you sure about that?
You have my word.
Alright. I'll give you 24 hours, Captain. I'll give you 24 hours to try whatever you want to try before you realize what has to be done. But after 24 hours, those Klingons better be gone. And he clicks off the view screen.
Racist!
Yeah, really. Also, aren't they on a different planet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, calm the hell down.
Yeah, but they also have spaceships, so the other planet thing isn't quite as big of a deal as it is for us.
Goodspeed, what's your take on all this?
I don't like this guy, and I think he's a jerk.
See, me too.
Your interpretation is noted. Holden?
I mean, the Klingons are a security risk to some extent, but a preemptive strike seems unwise.
No, it's out of the question. We're not going to do
Yeah,
it.
agreed.
Yeah, if I had a tree in my backyard that had bees in it, I wouldn't burn the tree down.
Especially not because Lieutenant Commander B would be so devastated.
That's true.
So it sounds like he is about to take a preemptive strike in some way, so I'm not sure he can remain in command of this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Even if the Klingons necessarily have some sort of malicious or nefarious plan, that still doesn't necessarily excuse him getting ready to attack them with no provocation.
Yeah, and
not sure.
let's be clear with the security force that their rules of engagement are such that they are not to, no matter what this guy says, they are not to shoot first.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they're not under his command.
Right.
So, and they know that.
Also, with a name like Norris Lee, I can only think of Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee, so that guy's gonna kill some folk.
Yeah, very original, Brian.
Yeah,
Harsh.
there's no clever etymology to this guy's particular name. I just pulled two names out of a hat.
Yeah, Chuck Norris, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, and Bruce Lee, yeah. But if you look at the picture I put in for him on Roll20,
Yeah, I'm looking at
he
it.
is definitely not a Chuck Norris type.
No, he looks like George Clooney in a space uniform.
He looks like George Clooney in a George Costanza uniform.
Oh no, don't wake up the baby.
So, quick question, Brian. We vastly outmatch a bird of prey, correct?
Correct.
So,
That we can see.
right, like one bird of prey, which is the only ship that we see, we vastly outmatch it at the moment. So,
Correct. So yeah, just as a point of reference, as you can see on the map, but for listeners at home, on your side there is the Tempest itself, obviously, and then the Federation facility has 3 Everest class cutters that are on the planet right now. And then on the Klingon side, there's 1 bird of prey and then 3 Klingon freighters.
Captain, I would suggest we possibly reach out to Starfleet and see if we can get maybe a smaller ship to come and essentially babysit the mining colony for a little while. That might satisfy him because he feels protected.
Are you worried about that being perceived as a show of force for the Klingons if they start seeing not 1 but 2 ships start showing up?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, right before they show up, we can leave.
Yeah.
And just go about our business?
Go about our business.
Yeah. We can start that little farming community we've been talking about.
You can go back to Carina 7 and start making wine.
But no, like they sent a big cruiser ship that can easily outmatch the 1 ship that's there. Obviously, there's the threat of cloaked ships, which is a possibility, but I mean, we can go talk to the Klingons maybe and see if we can discern if they have any sort of plans, but they have every right to be here.
So I will say part of your orders from Starfleet are to resolve the situation in a way that they don't have to station a ship here permanently.
Oh.
Because obviously, like, Norris Lee would love to just, like, for you to stick around forever and guard them. But Starfleet has other things it wants you to do, and the same thing for other starships.
Womp womp.
Yeah, so that is part of your orders. And if you guys were to, like, fail in some catastrophic way, like, that's basically what Starfleet would do as a resolution, is park a ship there permanently, but Starfleet would not be happy about having to do that.
All right. Go ahead, Teal.
How long does this mining take? Like, how long would they be there doing this?
For years, theoretically.
For years?
Yeah.
Neat.
All right, let's stay here for years, Brian. How'd that work into your storyline?
All right,
Yeah.
let me just take down this entire campaign I have plotted out.
we just live here now, so there.
All right, let's try to see what we can do. I think perhaps we should invite Mr. Lee and his top officers, brass, whatever, to a dinner on board the Tempest, and try to talk things through a little bit more.
Okay.
Calm him down.
Perhaps, or we could go down there. Anybody have any other suggestions?
I like the dinner thing. I want to get to know more about this guy and how such a hothead wound up in charge of such a large operation.
And more specifically,
Yeah,
I want to get to know who's second in command down there.
Ooh.
If I may,
You may.
I don't think we should invite him onto the ship where we have weapons and things. And, like, you never know. People are squirrely and he wants to start trouble. I wouldn't put him on our ship. I would say we go to him.
Well, I trust Holden.
Yeah, I think Mr. Holden can handle this guy.
Brian, let us do this.
Sure.
Can we have Teal roll, sort of retroactively, to see if she can sense any sort of violent tendencies in Lee beyond his speech? Like, does she get the impression that he's willing to back up his words with violence?
Sure. Okay, yeah. Do insight and command, difficulty 2. And
Let me see.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that as an opposed task, so he's gonna roll as well.
Lee is going to roll against this?
Yeah.
Huh.
For an empathic thing.
What do I do?
Insight and command.
Insight and command.
And I'm gonna spend a threat, actually.
Wow, spending a threat. Okay, so this guy
Yikes.
is a bad guy. All right.
Yeah.
Noted.
So, well, I guess if you're spending a threat, I should spend a momentum, right?
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Let's do that.
Oh, yeah, you sure did.
Oh yeah, you.
1, 1, 2. Nicely done.
Good work, Teal.
Yeah,
Thanks.
so you get that momentum back that you spent, right? And you definitely beat out his opposed task. So you get the sense that he doesn't have any violent intentions right now, but he does have a short fuse, and he is working on a limited amount of patience. So he actually, when the Klingons first showed up, they've been here for a couple weeks now. When they first showed up, he was yelling at Starfleet to send somebody right away, and it actually took you guys 2 weeks before Starfleet actually sent you there. So he's not like right immediately on the edge of I'm about to grab a phaser right now and go crazy, but his fuse is almost out.
I see.
So, Captain, if you want to go down there with an away team, we have a full security detail down there. I would suggest I stay on the ship. On the off chance that something with the Klingons does happen, Lee has not seemed to be outwardly violent in any way, but just in case there was some sort of, like, if he put something in motion, or maybe, like, he could have sent them some sort of message, like, some jackass on social media or something. He could have done a post that could send him that way. So
Yeah.
So maybe I stay up here just to be safe for if there happens to be any sort of conflict in orbit.
Okay.
But there's a full security detail down there, so you'll meet him with protection.
Agreed. Goodspeed, what do you think?
I concur with the idea of either. I think we can definitely protect ourselves if we're down there, and I think that Holden should stay here. And I'm fine going down there.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Goodspeed, Teal, you're with us as well. I need your empathic abilities.
Okay.
And let's get Lieutenant Mayfly
I mean, if
with
you want-
us.
No, I was going to say, if you want security, Panther would be a good choice.
Oh, Panther, right.
Sure.
Panther, no pants. He's coming with us.
Okay, let me pull up a security officer to do. Let's see, Starfleet security officer. Okay.
And Holden, I want you to keep a constant scan on that Klingon facility, and if they so much as twitch, I don't care.
You don't care?
You got it.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm sure it's fine.
Oh.
I pick up your subtle nod.
Okay. Gonna rename this guy real quick.
Panther.
I'll give him a funny name later. Right now, I'll just say Panther.
No, it's just Panther.
Well, I'll give him a funny spelling, or if it's his nickname, but
Yeah,
he's a human.
It's his nickname.
His
Okay.
nickname is Panther. We have not decided his species or actual name yet.
Okay, so he's in the supporting characters folder. Everybody should have access to him, I think. Make sure that is the case, though.
Yeah. Is this just generic? His abilities and everything?
Yeah. So I told Travis this, but actually I went through over the course of like a week and a half. I went through all of the books, the Star Trek Adventures books and supplementals and all of that, and input every kind of stock character
cool.
and ship in
Oh my
there.
gosh.
So yeah, so we now have the full range of things to draw upon.
And
As
since
templates.
since Holden is up on the ship, I'll just be Panther for the moment.
Sure.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, that works.
Should I do a voice? Is that the
Yes.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to do that.
The answer is always yes.
Okay, so you're beaming down.
Well, should we hail Lee first, or should we just make a surprise visit?
Whatever you decide, Captain.
Okay. Well, get me Administrator Lee on comms, please.
Tell him we have pot roast.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so he pops back up on the screen and goes, "What, Captain? What is it? Why are you still in orbit of Ivex 3?
This guy needs some pot roast.
Yeah.
Administrator Lee, I am leaving my security officer in charge of the Tempest. They will be constantly scanning the Klingon facility. I was wondering if you and your leadership would care to dine with us planet-side this evening.
I'm sorry, did you just invite yourself to dinner at my facility?
No, we're bringing
Why do you
dinner.
when you specifically know that I want you to take care of this dire threat to our life and safety and security? No, we're not hosting you for dinner. We have work to do. You have work to do. After the work is done, then sure, you can come down and have dinner. But
Ask if he wants to come up here.
Okay, Administrator Lee, I wasn't supposed to do this on an open channel because it's coded. I thought you were smart enough to pick that up, but we've already dispatched a security team in cloaked ships down to the planet's surface on Ivex 2. And I wanted to discuss this with you in person, and I would still like to iron out the details, if that's okay.
Captain, are you saying that you sent down cloaked ships to the Klingon mining planet?
Okay, I misspoke when I said cloaked, but undercover.
Okay, so covert, not cloaked, but covert.
Ooh, cool semantics.
Yes, we do not have cloaking technology.
Captain, I'm just not comfortable. This situation needs to be resolved, Captain. I don't see what is to be gained by lounging and having a meal.
My ship is on high alert. I have my best security detail actually dispatched to the Klingon planet, and all I want to do is bring you up to speed.
Tell him you gotta eat anyway.
And my doctor is telling me that you require sustenance.
Yeah, we have a replicator. Alright, Captain, you clearly want to come down, so fine, you can do that, but I am giving you 10 minutes and then I'm getting back to work, and I suggest you do the same. And he clicks off the screen again.
What a dick.
I'm finishing my pot roast.
I do not care for this guy's
Me
shenanigans.
neither. No, who refuses my pot roast?
We're here. We're a gunship that has been brought to defend his planet, and he doesn't want pot roast.
Yeah,
It's pot roast.
something smells
And you guys
fishy.
got
And
to
it's the
remember
pot
that
roast.
this guy
Not the
is,
pot roast.
justifiably or not, is very concerned for not just his own safety, his own life and well-being, but the well-being of his crew. The same way Maddox is responsible for the welfare of his crew, this guy has 150 people whose lives and safety he's responsible for, and he feels,
But-
rightly or wrongly,
but
that their safety is threatened right now.
But his answer is to kill them first?
Yeah, I will totally agree that he, is scared, and I get that. But on the flip side, Teal successfully was able to read him, and he's, lacking patience. But on the flip side, he is, his actual words are, go murder everyone on that planet immediately.
Right.
So your idea that, he's just lacking patience and scared doesn't match with the actual tone and things that he is saying at the moment.
Okay.
He's basically go murder them right now.
Go
I don't
murder
care.
them or else.
Yeah. So we did a roll to specifically get his state of mind, and his state of mind is not go murder them immediately or I will. His state of mind is I am lacking patience and scared.
Well, bring that up to him, I guess.
All right. Beam down.
Okay. Panther, Goodspeed, Teal, you're with me.
Panther doesn't speak.
Oh,
Well, there it is. Canon.
All right.
Okay.
our first character that just growls.
So you guys just beam down, unless you want to do anything else before then.
No.
No.
I mean, I want to
so-
eat this pot roast first. But
Okay.
So Brian,
Yeah.
as a sort of out of game, as a technical question.
Yeah.
In Star Trek, the number of times someone can tell whether or not they're being scanned is sort of hit or miss based on the plot.
Right.
If the Tempest is regularly scanning the Klingon ship and the mining facility, are they aware that we are doing this? I'm assuming that I, as a security officer, would understand these sort of limitations and stuff.
Yeah. So we'll kind of use the classic active and passive sonar style. So
Yeah. Okay.
so if you want to do more than passive scanning, let me know. But that'll be a task and something that they would be able to register.
Gotcha. So yeah. If
I
we're,
also would rather. I would try. My preference would be to open a channel with them, open a dialogue before we start actively scanning them, just to sort of clear the air before we start scanning. I mean, I don't think it's a particularly.
yeah. Aye, sir.
Okay.
Okay. So you guys beam down into the small transporter room of the Alpha facility where Norris Lee is. He greets you at the transporter room, still very clearly, obviously impatient.
How many
Hi.
how many people are in the room? Sorry, I'm gonna do technical questions first.
Well, just in the transporter room, it's Norris Lee, his chief of security, which is an Andorian woman named Chevilnek, or you can just call her Vile, and the transporter
That's unfortunate.
operator.
Can we have Teal roll to get a read on the Andorian?
Sure. Go ahead and do.
I'm assuming one of our security people are sort of with them.
Yeah, they can be if you want.
Okay.
Teal, go ahead and do insight plus commands, difficulty 1.
oof.
Okay, so that's a complication, but you did succeed.
Yeah.
So you get the sense from her that she is uneasy. She's definitely also worried and concerned and kind of on edge, or in fight or flight mode a little bit. But she's definitely more even keeled about things than Norris Lee is.
Okay.
I also feel like there's something underlying here, like maybe they all previously were in a fight with Klingons or something, like some history that we don't know,
Maybe.
because the racism and fear and everything is so strong.
So
There has to
yeah, so
be
just
something.
so just as color, I will say that So the Khitomer Accords were signed 46 years ago, and by and large that has been peace. But there have been little hotspots of Klingons attacking, most of the time they're renegades or, whatever not sanctioned by the government, like little isolated incidents. So It's possible, you don't know, but it's possible that he has some traumatic experience related to that somewhere in his past.
Sure.
But at the very least, he's at least aware of that.
We should ask about that at dinner, or at not dinner, since this guy doesn't seem to like pot roast.
Well, I mean, I brought down a Tupperware anyway, so...
And the Andorian security officer takes it from you and, sort of like, tries to give you that, like, thank you, like trying to show appreciation, even though it's really awkward because the guy in charge definitely doesn't want to show appreciation. So, but she sort of gives you that sort of little, like, shoulder shrug, like, thanks, it's a nice thought, thank you.
Dr. Teal, did you write Tempest on the bottom of that Tupperware?
You know what? I'm just gonna gift it to them.
You treat it like it's a gift, but now it's just their problem, so I don't think we're helping ourselves. I'm not saying we can't do that.
Yeah, but like, how much Tupperware could they have possibly brought, So.
Okay, well, we can do an investigation check to see how much Tupperware they brought.
Okay, do
we have a meeting to get to?
Do a roll for me to determine how much Tupperware they have in their inventory.
All right, what is that? Fitness and security?
Yeah. Okay,
do not.
what do you guys want to do?
The fitness, because you fitness pot roast in here?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Get out.
No.
Somebody
No.
mute Teal's
No.
comm.
Okay. I'm taking away one of your points of momentum for that.
Oh, no.
All right. Administrator Lee, it's good to meet you in person, sir. How have I trust my security detail have been exemplary thus far?
They've been well behaved so far, yes.
Okay.
I'm still not sure that they're here for our benefit or for yours, though, Captain.
Really?
Oh, certainly for your benefit.
I'm sure. What can I help you with?
Well,
Being less of a dick, for one.
And he shoots a glare at Teal.
Teal, you said that out loud, not in your head.
I'm so sorry. I'm not great with that.
As a telepath, sometimes they're not accustomed to, like, not voicing their thoughts out loud.
Administrator Lee, before I give you an update on my Tactical Special Forces team on Ivex 2, I wanted to know the situation a little bit more in depth.
I don't know what you're looking for, Captain. I gave you the situation. I'm sure Starfleet Command gave you a full briefing. We've been here for 6 months, setting up at great expense and great cost and great resources this facility, which will produce a substantial amount of very high-quality dilithium ore for the Federation to run ships like yours, and ships like yours need dilithium from places like this in order to function. 2 weeks ago, the Klingons showed up, set up their own operation on Ivex 2. It is my opinion, my professional opinion, that they don't have the technology to access the dilithium ore on this planet. So they are waiting for our facility to be operational, at which point they will take it from us by force and most likely kill me and my crew in the process.
Where were you before this?
What do you mean?
What was your last job? Like, where were you before you came here 6 months ago?
Well, I work for the Talix mining company. That's the company that the Federation licensed to set up this operation. I've been working for them for 13 years.
Have you had other run-ins with Klingons in those 13 years?
Yes, I have. At an old mine, we were attacked by Klingon raiders. Several of that operational crew, were killed or injured or maimed in that experience. So I understand and I know what these Klingons are capable of.
My word.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Did any of your former colleagues from your previous position, are they here with you today? Anybody else from those teams here? It's just
no.
you?
Those are substantially smaller operations. I wasn't in charge of that facility, and frankly, I think if the man who had been a little bit more diligent, shall we say, that maybe it could have been avoided. And so that's a mistake I'm not going to make, Captain. So that's the. If you want to know why I seem so agitated, that's the reason.
I glance at Teal, and we exchange a look that allows her to realize that I want her to gauge the reaction of the Andorian with what I'm about to say next.
Okay.
Okay.
You know what, Lee? Let me tell you something. You're absolutely right. These Klingon bastards cannot be trusted. I have no idea how blind the Federation really is, but in my estimation, they are gravely overlooking this entire situation, and I think all-out war is absolutely inevitable, and as far as I'm concerned, the reason why we're here is because we need to strike first.
Okay, he looks at you, and he's really trying. It's almost too good
Ballsy.
for him to.
Stupid, but ballsy.
Yeah.
It's a bold move, Cotton.
Oh, you know what? Can I retroactively say that I don't know if this would help, but if I gave that, I have, remember one of my, attributes or whatever, is team dynamics? No, is character assessment.
Sure. Okay.
One of my focuses. I don't know if that would help in any, because I'm not rolling in this case, so I guess
Right.
it wouldn't. But anyway, my goal here, and this is actually where team dynamics might help, is to get Teal to read the Andorian to gauge the temperature on whether or not the Andorian is looking for war or is she anxious because of Klingons, or is she anxious because of Lee?
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, you say all of that to Lee. Lee is silent for a long moment. He's trying to assess your character for sure, based on the interaction you've already had with him and kind of his own fear in general. What you have just said sounds too good to be true for him, so he's really trying to decide whether you mean what you say or not. Teal, if you want to kind of scan the security officer vial, go ahead and do another insight and commands, difficulty 1. Ooh.
Christ.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
she just shut me down there.
Threat or complication?
Teal is staring so hard at the Andorian, and the vein is pulsing out of her neck.
I
Take
guess
the complication.
complication?
Okay. So the complication is any further attempts to scan telepathically anybody here in this mission is going to be difficulty +1.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That's a pretty painful complication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, you can't get a reading. She is a security officer. She's a civilian, but she's still a security officer, so she has some training on resisting telepathic influences. So she can sort of feel your probe, and as soon as that happens, she shuts herself off and shuts herself down, and kind of in a mental metaphor pushes you out of her mental door.
Great.
So you don't know kind of her perspective on all of this. Maddox, do you want to do a roll to see whether or not you convince Norris Lee of your intentions? If you want to try to actually fool him, I'll let you try, and that'll be a roll. If you don't care, then I won't make you roll.
Yeah. No, yeah. I want to fool him. Absolutely.
Okay. So then do a presence plus command, and that will be difficulty 1.
Difficulty
Spend a momentum.
1. Spend a momentum.
Because we earned it back, so we're at 8,
Right.
correct?
Sure.
Yes.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Success.
Boom.
Nice.
Okay.
And you get it back. Okay, so after a moment of thinking and kind of really trying to study you, he relaxes and he takes a deep breath and he decides that, okay, he's going to believe you because you're telling him exactly what he wants to hear. He goes, "Thank you, Captain. That's all I wanted to hear. I know a lot of people in the Federation are still trying to make peace work with the Klingons. I just don't see how it's possible. We've been helping them for almost 50 years, and every attempt we have made at making peace has just been rebuffed by them. I don't want war, Captain. Believe me, I don't want it. But I just can't imagine that the Klingons will let us do anything else.
So,
It's just my opinion, but...
yeah, so Norris Lee, this is, hi, I'm TJ.
Hi, TJ.
You should work I'm TJ into every episode.
We're all in agreement here about the tenuousness of the situation, but obviously, you're a reasonable man. You can't expect that we will simply show up in Federation garb and storm and attack the Klingon outpost. What do you intend to do? How would you want this to go?
Look, if you think that what I'm asking you to do is to destroy them and kill every single one and wipe them out, obviously not. Obviously, I don't want that. That would be absolutely brutal and against everything the Federation stands for. But you have a much more powerful ship than what they presently have. You can demonstrate the power of that ship. You can engage them in combat and drive them off. They may be Klingons, but they will still withdraw if that is the tactically smart thing to do.
Do you know any Klingons? They'll fight to the death.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
That's their deal.
Yeah.
Lee.
They won't withdraw.
Yes, Captain,
If I may.
I do know
If I may.
Klingons.
I completely
What,
agree
Captain?
with you. But part of the predicament that I'm in is that these Klingon bastards have got us in a corner because the Federation for 46 years has played nice, has failed to build up their defenses, has failed to take any provocative action whatsoever against the Klingons. And so right now, the only thing that's holding me back is if we engage the Klingons now, it will be all-out war. And we, the Federation, are just not ready for it.
And I cannot have that as a result of this conflict.
I mean, I disagree, Captain. We could have torn their fleet apart limb by limb 46 years ago. It would have been easy, and maybe that's what we should have done. I don't know. I was a baby at the time.
Baby Cartwright.
But it's...
So clearly you have a
baby.
deep understanding of the situation.
I'm sure you know more than I do as a Starfleet officer, and you have access to lots of tactical briefings and intelligence reports and whatnot. But at least at the moment, we field a superior force than they do. They're stronger than they were 46 years ago, sure. But we could still take them on at this point. For how much longer? I don't know. That's something that you would know better than I. But I do know that if they get access and they start drawing dilithium from Ivex 2 and then, yes, from here, Ivex 3 as well, they're only going to be that much stronger for a war that both you and I know is coming.
Can I retcon something real quick?
Sure.
Before we beamed down to the planet's surface, I told Holden to give me a coded comm signal at some interval, and that interval is coming up very shortly.
Okay, I'll let it happen this time, but in the future, that's something you would have to actually establish.
Sure. Okay. So my communicator chirps, and Holden, just say something.
Apparently our code was to do an impression of Panther.
I acknowledge, Commander. Mr. Lee,
Yes, what was that?
me and my party have to return back to the ship. We're going to leave the security detail down here. They have updated tactical information for me, and it's eyes only. So I'm going to return to my ship, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and I say, but we're going to fix this, and we're going to fix it the right way.
And he is so tremendously relieved that he finally seems to have somebody who believes his side of the story and is taking his concerns seriously. He sighs, he breathes very deeply, goes, "Thank you, Captain, thank you very much. For the first time in weeks, I feel genuinely taken care of."
Maddox to Eel, 4 to beam up.
All right.
And you guys disappear in a shimmering beams of light, and you return to the Tempest.
Boy, what a frickin' whack job.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you say that, because for a minute I just thought you became super racist for some reason. Like, I don't know if it was like the pot roast, because sometimes if you get gassy, like, I don't know. I don't.
Also,
But it was
thanks for this Tupperware of pot roast. This was really good on my break here. So.
Thank you for listening to Part 1 of Incident at Ivex. Find out next time if the crew of the Tempest can walk the fine line of diplomacy, or if the scales of peace dip towards war. If you enjoy what you've heard, please subscribe, like, follow, or share to help spread the word. You can find us on social media with the handle Starship Tempest. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you out there.